I thought long and hard about whether or not I wanted to even come forward and talk about my experiences with him as another woman that he was more than friends with. And I think I finally decided that yes, I feel comfortable sharing what I'm sharing in this video, and as of this point, nothing more while I continue to process my emotions. Quick disclaimer, my story is not meant to minimize or diminish anyone else's story. This is just what happened between me and him and my personal experiences with him. Number one, we've been friends for over a year now, and then it evolved towards the end of the summer, and I can pinpoint exactly when it evolved because we had detailed conversations about the exact parameters of what we were doing and what we both consented to with regard to our friendship evolving into something more. Number two, one of those parameters involved us specifically discussing and agreeing that neither of us were ready to be exclusive. Number three, there were times where he was less than kind. Quite frankly, I called him an asshole once or twice. But what I appreciated is, without me having to ask for it, he would apologize and then outline and say what exactly he thought he did wrong and how he could do better. I just want to reiterate that this is just my experience with Modern Warrior. It is not meant to minimize or diminish anyone else's experience with him. And while my heart goes out to the other women who have come forward and said that they were negatively impacted by his behavior, I quite frankly want to just put this behind me and move forward with my life. So, thank you for listening.
Absolutely using this moment to defame an Indigenous man. These are her white woman tears. I denied that yesterday, thinking that I was protecting somebody who's a victim. She's as much as a victim as I am, and you don't see me posting on Instagram that I need to go to the hospital, that I'm potentially pregnant with this man's baby, that I'm having thoughts about unaliving myself. All of this is for attention. Whether those things are true, she is posting about them to get your support, to get your sympathy, and to get followers. This is happening because she wants this attention. As soon as she found out that I could verify her experience with Lance, she has been calling me nonstop, yelling at me, pressuring me, telling me what to say, telling me what to do, telling me what to post, telling me what not to post, trying to control me and how I tell the truth about my experience with Lance. She is doing that intentionally. This is exactly what she wants, and I am not the only one who knows that. I had these concerns today and was feeling guilty, and I called to Verja to say, hey, I don't know what to do about this, and she has had the exact same concerns as I have had. She has been noticing the exact same things and has been dealing with the exact same behavior, and she's not the only other creator. The other creators just don't want to be known. Chelsea asked Verja to refer to her as the pregnant woman in Verja's videos. Because all this started to happen, I went, you know what? There's somebody else who knows Chelsea. I asked Lance. I just said, what was your experience like with Chelsea before giving anything away about what I was dealing with? And he said the exact same thing. And she honestly has verified all of it. Chelsea has verified all of it. She also said that she would call him nonstop, over and over, sobbing, crying, texting him constantly, always talking about unaliving herself, her mental health, everything. He said the same thing. Other creators have said the same thing. So for the past 3 days, not only have I been dealing with my own pain and own sadness, dealing with this whole situation, I'm dealing with this woman screaming at me. I woke up at 7 a.m. today, her calling me and yelling at me. So I'm done. The truth is what needed to be out there. I needed to tell my story.
Several days after I left Lance's house in Denver, I saw this TikTok. The time and date stamp is the exact day I left his house. But by then, it was too late to take Plan B, and I now had to worry about an STD. He swore to me that there was absolutely no one else, and I decided to keep it private for reasons like this. I confided in a couple other creators the night it happened. These are from the night before the tweet. And this is what I tweeted directly before the tweet that is currently circulating, which is a joke I made to myself under the understanding I now had to get tested for an STD. I called someone who knew Lance personally, and it was only then that they revealed to me that he was likely in a committed serious relationship the entire time we were an item. I had opened up my body in a way that I had vividly described to him was very difficult for me. And out of anger, I posted an Instagram story. When Lance saw the Instagram story, he sent me these messages and proceeded to call me repeatedly until I answered. We were on the phone till 4 a.m. and he was telling me those things that he wanted to unalive himself till 4 a.m. He was driving into the mountains. But by that time, it was too late. The Instagram story had already been seen by thousands of people on Instagram and Facebook, which is why I started my first video with this. But I do not wish harm or vengeance on this person. I did make a post in anger earlier today and it was wrong, and I shouldn't have, and I want to clear this air. Operating under the assumption that there was no other people, I made that post. But since I've come out, there are now 5 of us who are all visibly identical, who had been manipulated into sharing our deepest fears and traumas and buying tickets to go see Lance Sosi in Denver in a romantic relationship. And that is why he screamed bloody murder on the phone to me, because he has a pattern of abuse that he didn't want me to know about and he didn't want anyone else to know about. Amanda, you went after a Native woman who was openly suicidal. And now, at the first opportunity you are choosing an abuser over his victims. And now other victims are probably too shy to come out because you've made me look like a liar. I wanted a relationship and babies, and I vividly described that to Lance after losing my baby a year ago. There is no question of my intentions with Lance Sosi. I'm going to let the next couple videos speak for themselves. Lance Sosi fully understood my desire for a committed relationship, my desire for exclusivity, and my difficulties with intimacy, which I repeatedly told him. And a month after this particular video that I just shared with you, he was asking me to send him things like this. After crying over the excruciating pain of losing a child. When I lost my child, I threw up from the pain of the contractions and fell asleep in a puddle of sweat. It was excruciating. Most of you will never understand the deep, primal changes that happen when a life grows inside of you. The sudden hormonal shift is astronomical, and it is even more astronomical to then have that life leave your body in tiny pieces. I was quite honestly repulsed by the idea of dating, except for with Lance Sosi. I absolutely never would have given my consent had I known I was not the only partner. These are the messages Lance would send me in full knowledge of my breakdowns. I made a reactionary post to finding out that my innermost traumas had not only been ignored, but violated so egregiously. I had already opened the box, and the tidal wave was coming. I said it in my first video. And for those of you saying, he just didn't like you that much, that makes it worse, don't you understand? A man has built his entire platform based off of anti-misogyny, anti-oppression, and he watched someone snot-nosed, drooling, crying over a dead baby to get in their pants